So hi everybody, Carl and Sharon here at Escape. Today we have our Escape trailer talk with Rick and Dorothy Anixter and Pam and Mark Willon, the Willons. And so Rick obviously just purchased a trailer, and Mark and Pam have a trailer, sort of an older trailer, I guess. 2015 trailer, which is fantastic. And yeah, we just thought we'd get everybody together in a conversation. And I know you guys know each other quite well. So we'll work through this trailer talk. So Rick and Dorothy, if you wouldn't mind giving us a little bit of who you are and how you came to Escape. And then, of course, we'll go back and forwards, Pam and Mark, with you guys with the same sort of conversation.
Great. Well, thanks for asking us to do this. We're sitting here in front of our house, and hopefully we won't be interrupted by a neighbor. But we thought we would. When we watch your videos, we see you're in a trailer. We thought we would be in ours. So, our process started actually a few years ago when we were thinking about getting a trailer after our good friends Mark and Pam had been into trailers for a while. We had been tent people, both individually and when we got together with our kids, all our lives. So this was brand new territory for us. And then after we saw Mark and Pam's trailer, it kind of got us the bug. And then we started thinking about it, getting ready. Dorothy had been retired for a few years. I was getting ready to retire actually last year. And so we went out to shop, even though we liked what we saw with what Pam and Mark had. And we knew the history that they had been in with previous trailers. So it just kept coming back to the Escape. We saw other models that were not made in the same way. I won't start mentioning brands, but it was just, we thought, well, should we invest just a little bit more to do what we wanted to do? And that's where we went with the decision. So
can I jump in for a minute?
Yeah.
The other thing is, every time we'd go look at a trailer, we come home and we'd call or text Mark and Pam, and we'd say, okay, we saw this on the trailer and we saw this. And Mark took us all the way down to the very basics on how, I don't know what do you call the thing that this is built on?
Frame.
Well, whatever, frame. But he just kind of, every time we had a question, we'd call them up and they'd say, well, you might want to look at this, you might want to look at that. So, okay.
Yeah, they called us so much we had to change phone plans. I'm not saying Rick asked a lot of questions. Don't get me wrong.
You're burning up our data.
So when we actually we really decided on Escape probably 3 years ago, and that's actually I reached out to Escape on a phone call because we had a question about towing. We didn't have a truck. We were thinking about getting a new car, and I can't remember the person that we were, someone on the customer service desk. And then they said, we'll have someone call you. And then next thing you know, it was like 5:15 our time on the coast here, on the West Coast. And person calls and, hi, this is Carl, and I want to answer some questions for you. And before we knew it, we didn't put it all together, but it was Carl here. So we had the president of the company calling us to give us advice on what we should be using for towing, and he was very Carl. You back then, I'm still remembering the call, but you were very nice and trying to do it in a nice way. You were trying to do it in a nice way. Well, you could do that, but you kind of had be careful. I think it had like a 5,000 towing capacity on a Highlander or something. You could do it, but it was like one of those. And then so right after that, I get hold of Mark. It's a good thing you weren't charging $1 a text, but I got hold of Mark and I said, Mark, what do you think? I'm thinking, it could, whatever. And so being a very close friend, he was able to say, absolutely not. Do not do that. I know you could, but don't, and I'm like, okay. So anyway, so the first thing we bought was the truck, and then we started putting the deposit down. And
basically what he's saying is, as diplomatic as you were, I was just the opposite.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes we get, especially when I was talking to yourself there, Rick, it's, I get I get people, and they're adamant. This is good enough. I've towed for years. It's going to be totally fine. So it's like I'm trying to play this like, well, you're kind of right on the limit. Probably not a great place to be.
Yeah. No, you were very careful about it, but it made, and that's why I think I reached out to Mark. I said, possible. What do you think? And Mark was, and I guess having someone, even besides Escape, I was just impressed that, frankly, I was impressed that you called, that it went right to the top, if you will, and you would take the time. I think obviously it was after work hours, and I don't know how late you're working there, but that's a whole nother story. But it was very nice. So so that process started, and for us, just having our friends, Mark and Pam, both Pam and Dorothy, needed for the video, they're retired nurses, and they met in nursing years and years ago.
37 years.
37 years ago. So, it was just nice to have friends that could help us through. And so that they were our ambassadors throughout the whole thing. It was nice to have for all my questions.
And we love our trailer. I never thought, I absolutely love camping, but this whole trailer, I didn't even know what a gray or a black tank was. And Pam would constantly tell me, okay, this and this. I'm telling you, we love our trailer.
Oh, that's so great.
Love it, love it, love it.
Some of the questions they asked, my response was this,
Love you too, Mark.
But we didn't have Zoom, so they couldn't see it.
There's no such thing as a stupid question.
Yeah,
There never is, and you often find that people will ask questions in different ways because they're trying to search for the answer. They're trying to figure out the answer or make it make sense in their heads.
Well,
or they don't even know what question to ask to start with.
That's a huge one.
Yeah, the reality was that when Dorothy and Rick would call us, or Rick or Dorothy, whatever, the questions they'd ask were cut right to the quick. They were asking some really good basic questions about the trip, not only what we thought about the trailer as a whole in terms of how much we've enjoyed it. We've had ours since 2015, and how well it's done for us and how much we like it. But the technical questions about how does this work? What do you think about this? And one of those questions leads to the other. And really our role was to really supplement a lot what they were learning from Escape. And we were just lucky enough to have the experience we had with it. And it's all been good experience, both with the trailer and the people we meet who have the trailer. That's a whole other thing. Mm-hmm. But in reality, it was really nice to have the ability to not necessarily answer all the questions, but to render opinions or point Rick and Dorothy in the right way. So when they got it, since it was delivered, we were able to help them walk through those before they saw it. And then once they saw it, sort of put the rubber to the road and help them implement it. So it was fun.
It's a big factor for us because we've been working a lot more over the last year now, Harrison, probably the last year, really trying to build more content on the education side for people, specifically newer people coming in. Because if you've already been into RVing for a number of years in any way, shape, or form, then you kind of know a lot of the questions to ask. And so from our perspective, it's like, well, people don't know what questions to ask. So it's on us to try and give as much information in as many different ways as we possibly can. Because a person may read it and not get it, but then they may see a video and totally get it.
Yeah.
So, how do you give that education?
I've seen some of the newer videos. I've been watching them because Rick's been telling me about the work you've been doing on it. And I was just curious. And one thing I was impressed with is how you bore down. You have a video that gives you a general look, and then you bore down and really specific issues that people are going to want to know and need to know. And
so we get a lot of questions. We get a lot of questions, and we capture all those questions, like Jolie, Linda, Melissa. Specifically on the configuration side, that's where the rubber hits the road for most people. When they get into the config side, or they have to nail down the build sheet, that's where you get a lot of the really valuable questions coming through because they haven't understood it well enough. and then they're going to put money on the line. So that's the important part. So we capture all those questions that come through.
Getting back to when we started the process, Carl, and then you called, it for us, it was like we kind of felt like, wow, that was pretty cool that, someone higher up like that, take the time. And then for what I kind of wanted to tag on what Mark was saying, and then being able to work with the various people within Escape, it just helped us. It just helped us realize some of the questions when you have to start ticking the options you think you want, right? Yeah. And then all of a sudden oh yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. And then all of a sudden you get down to the bottom and you decide, maybe I want to start de-clicking, or I don't know if that's a word, but it's like, I don't know if we need that or whatever. And then that would be another call to Mark or a text to Mark. And I'm like, Mark, what do you think? I don't think we need that. But it was kind of funny, even with Mark, because some of these things you've added since they've purchased, having someone in the background to say, I don't know what that is. And I'm like, well, I stumped the expert on that one. That was good. And so having Escape, when we started, Linda was the one that was helping us through the options.
She was great.
And, unbelievable. So people like us that had all these questions and had the callbacks and another email. And what was really good is that there was no pressure, if you will. Or it didn't come from Linda to say, oh, I think you need that. Or I think you should have that. Right? There was no upping the decision. Yeah. So that was nice. That was nice. Matter of fact, I think there were a couple of times which because there was a lot of talk like, what do you intend to do with the trailer? What do you want to do? And then helping people do the options at that point. That was nice. Living, we could think what we want to have today, but we really don't know what we're going to need tomorrow. So there's a little bit of a decision-making process. Do you want to pay up front for something you may need down the road?
Yeah.
Right. So, and by the way, the forum, we're not on Facebook on this, but the forum, those guys, those people that are on there, wow.
Wealth of knowledge. Yeah.
Oh man. You feel the cult. You almost feel like, like we do have a Jeep, an older Jeep, and you get used to the wave. I'm envisioning everybody waving the same wave and like on the Escape trailers as they pass each other.
Yeah. We see fiberglass RVs on the road now, either casitas or Escapes, and there's always the wave and there's one. And if you run into one at a rest stop, you want to get their story. Where have you been? Where did you get it? How did you hear about it? Because it's still, like you said, it's a small enclave of trailers that come from across the border, and no one really knows what they are until you see one.
Well, the whole fiberglass trailer industry is a very small sector in the whole RV industry. I was just reading the reports. I mean, this year is going to be bananas for the RV industry. They're looking at 500,000 new trailers coming into the marketplace. I remember back in 2019, it was 275,000.
Wow.
Well, the pandemic, you have that to thank.
Right.
So on the road and getting in an airplane or a boat. So
a huge amount going in. But fiberglass trailers, I mean, if I try and pull together, there's really only us, Casita, Oliver, Bigfoot, Armadillo, Happy Camper, Scamp. They're the main sort of groups. And some of those are much smaller. Obviously, Trillium are still kind of going a little bit. So there's much smaller, but put us all together. What is it? Less than 10,000 trailers a year.
Wow, that's interesting.
Well, that's sort of because of the uniqueness of the fiberglass and the Escape. One of the things that I found with Rick and Dorothy, they had done a lot, and through you and they're on their own, had done a lot of work to find out how they hold up, and what we were able to do is confirm that, the things that the strength of the fiberglass, and then also confirm some of the information they had gotten through you or through the web about all the options that you offer. Because it's like anything you buy, it's nice to have options. And the more options you have, you can personalize your trailer and customize it. But in the same sense, it's like, God, there's a lot of options, So it's nice to be able to sort of filter through them. And we have the we've known Dorothy and Rick for a long time, and so it's nice to say, okay, this is what this does. This might mean something in your lifestyle, what your values. This might be something you might like, or might, do you need it? So, and then they could tell us whether they thought we were right or wrong, but we could offer our opinion. So, and I know Pam and Dorothy worked a lot on the interior, and that's when I just left the room and had a beer because I knew nothing about that.
Well, talking about that, I just want to say the experience of being able to handpick your fabric, your countertops, your floor is exciting. But I'll tell you what was really fun was when we picked up our trailer in Eugene, Oregon with Mark and Pam. They met us up there. They live in Portland. So we all met in Eugene.
Go Ducks.
We met in Eugene, and there is our trailer sitting on top of, was it on the truck still? Or was it on the ground? Anyway, it doesn't matter. There's our trailer. And Pam says to me, okay, let's open the door. And I was so nervous to open the door to go inside because I thought, oh my goodness, what if I don't like the fabric? What if I don't like the floor? I was so nervous. And when we walked in, I can't even begin to tell you, it was gorgeous. We loved everything. Everything. Our refrigerator's huge. We even had our first camping trip was at Riverbend, and I used our stove, and I think we had a lasagna, and I never do that camping. We're always outdoors camping or cooking, which we still do. We do both, but I am so excited. I love this trailer. It's just, and we're leaving tomorrow for the beach. So
awesome.
Yeah, it's great. I love tenting, but I am definitely ready for the trailer. Great choice. Great choice. Thank you, Mark and Pam, by the way.
Well, the funny thing is they were, like they said, they were tent campers. And so we keep on telling them, you don't have to bring water. You don't need a 5-gallon jug of water. You've got almost 30 gallons under the trailer. And plus you're at a campground where you plug into city. So stop bringing water.
Yeah. And all your clothes are where you want them. You don't have to root through bags to find that pair of underwear or socks or whatever it might be. Everything is.
Bed is warm and cozy, and you have a bathroom right there. It's amazing. I call it my hotel on wheels. So that is, it's got everything you need and more. Well, our first camping trip with Dorothy and Rick, and then the second one we had in May. About every hour, Dorothy would check in with us, and this was her mantra: I love my trailer. And then, okay, that's good for this hour. And then an hour later, I love my trailer. There'd be something new. It was like,
I do love it.
I actually love the fabric that you've chosen, because your base, Dorothy, is like a teal, and it's a solid color, and then you've got the pattern at the back. I haven't seen much of that in the trailers, like the difference. Yeah, it's really nice. Lovely.
Well, thank you. Matter of fact, Mark and Pam helped us there too. I had picked out a yellow print and then this one, and I didn't know which one to go with. And they both thumbs up on the teal. So there you go.
Yeah.
But thank you.
And again, having that option, we touched on that, but having that option of being able to, you guys provide so many options internally. Just here you go, and you were able to send some samples, and we really liked them. We were going to go for it, and then but just by chance, I think it was on your either through Linda or something that was sent to us as we were choosing. You had the option to go outside, and you gave a couple of examples of where you could go to get. And when we started looking at that, that's when we decided to go, if you will, outside of Escape, to have the materials sent directly to Escape. So we didn't, to Dorothy's point, we didn't even have it shipped here to have it looked at, to have us, I guess, to inspect it. We just sent it there. So it was totally like Dorothy going through that box opening experience to be able to look at things. So it was pretty cool. Getting back to, I wanted to touch on something because Mark reminded me. Or Pam, on the second trip that we've been with them, we met them in Oregon, and then that was a place to hook up. And then we were leaving to go to our first boondocking, if you will. And this was in Northern California in the Redwoods. And we had a great campsite. To be able to, to get where we were, it was amazing. But toward the end of the trip, we were there 4 days. And this, we do have in here, we went with the solar, one panel, and we went with one lithium battery. And we were going to start there. And if we needed more, we'll go ahead and add it, what have you. But I was having trouble on the last couple of days where I was trying to get the reading. And again, lack of knowledge, first time boondocking. Oh my God. And I'm looking at various things and the meters and everything seems like okay. But then the battery looks like it might be going down a little bit too fast. So I made the call up to Escape just to like, what do you think about this? And what I had forgotten, I was on vacation and kind of freaking out, type B personality. And it was before 8:30. I think you opened at 8:30. Mm. And so it was a little bit before that, but someone answered the phone and the woman answered the phone, very nice. And I said, I'm trying to get hold of Dustin, your people that work in the after sale. And they said, well, let me see if I could find him. They took the time before the opening. Dustin picks up, and Dustin, I've talked to him a couple of times. He's helped me a few times. And I just said by the end of the call, I said, Dustin, your type B personality is a perfect match for my type A. I feel a lot better. We're doing good. But the explanation was really good. So I just kudos to Dustin and just very, and the person that answered the phone that found him. So that was pretty cool.
That's great. That's great. Thank you. I mean, he gets this time of the year, especially as people are getting out more, he gets a lot of questions. Of course, he's got support inside as well, but he's kind of the guy that does a lot of the initial.
And to sort of piggyback on what Rick has just said is that, we've had our trailer now for 6 years about. It's a 21 foot, and I still occasionally and I've never had any issues with it at all, really. Little things that you would expect, but nothing major. But there are times when I have a question about something, and to call up there and talk to Dustin or other folks, or to leave a message and actually have them return my call and know a little bit about me, not because they remember me, hopefully, but because they have the paperwork to know what I have. And they've been very helpful. I've made a couple little modifications on some of our systems, and they gave me the technical advice I needed and pointed me in the right directions. And again, so as much as they helped Rick as a new customer, what I've noticed and Pam has noticed is that they've also been there for us to continue that. And that includes during, the major change you went through a few years ago. That was, from my standpoint, it was seamless from what I needed. It really was. Well,
that's kudos to Reese on that one. Yeah. He and I worked very closely during the transition period to ensure that it was as smooth as possible for everybody. So he took on a lot of the after sales transition side of things in those first 6 months.
From a customer standpoint, it was very obvious that you two had worked well together or had been able to work together, because we look at, from a different standpoint, customer standpoint, it was, you worry about that kind of thing. I think I'm not saying anything anybody else doesn't feel, but the proof's in the pudding, and it just went smoothly. And really, from my perspective, and I'm sure not from yours, there's probably a few bumps in the road, but from our perspective, there wasn't. It was really nice.
Good. Well, business is always there's always challenges and things to get over and everything else. But Reese and I share a very similar. I mean, Reese is very strong technically. And of course, my background is that I sort of came through as a mechanical engineer, so that's kind of in my heart. And neither of us are what would you call? Neither of us are career salespeople, really. Not when it's more. That's why this business works so well. It's because we're not selling anybody anything. We're just providing all the information, and you make the choice whether you want to take it or not. So it's almost a completely different sort of spin on it.
Really good about that.
I am a career. I retired. I was in business development all my life. So again, I'm going to go back to when you called and be able to and having friends that refer, you just kind of take a step back and say, okay, here's a chance. And we're doing this all through COVID. I mean, if there was ever a time to, we can't go up and visit you. All those stories we hear about. Well, Mark and Pam had the story of going up, seeing the site, that whole thing. We couldn't even do that.
Yeah.
And then we chose not to drive to, is it Sumas? Like, am I pronouncing that correctly? Not to do that and to have it shipped. So the whole experience, I mean, when you're buying something like this, I mean, like a car, usually you're going to go see the car, you're going to go sit in it, take a test drive. How do you think? Nothing, and then be able to, when on that first trip, when Mark and Pam met us there, I mean, we picked it up, I think it was 1:30 in the afternoon. And by 4:00, we were set up, getting ready to cook, camping on the same day. I mean, in a brand new, to test, talk about the ultimate test of how's everything going to work, and everything was perfect. So it was like, okay, here we go. We're ready. That was a hookup place, though, by the way.
Requires a tremendous amount of faith, I guess, confidence in, because like it's not even like buying a car. It's far more complex than buying a car. You're personalizing and customizing to your tastes. And so it's enough. It might be buying, if you're buying a McLaren or some sort of very custom vehicle or something that you want just for yourself, or restoring something and having somebody else do it and not see it until it arrives, and you've spent whatever it is, 30-40 grand on that.
And getting back to the if you were a veteran in the trailers, then okay, it might be a lot easier. But when you're a newbie and not knowing what to expect, and only having people, friends or referrals, or this ambassador program that you do, and having people on the forum, and for the most part, any negative you see on the forum is only kind of a back and forth. Sometimes when one believes one way and one believes the other way, it's almost political in a way. But it's just not, because it really gives you a chance to, okay, which side do you want to be on? Even though this person or this woman is saying I wouldn't do it, I think I will do that. But it really gives you a chance to help you make your decision. And it's just everything's. I want to circle back for a second to Linda, who helped us through this. She was so cool because it was like she knew so much about each item that we asked her about, and the point there were about maybe half a dozen times where she says, "You know what? I don't know. I don't. Let me get back to you." And it was within a day. It was back. So it reminded me when Mark said about a day, but within a day she was back to us and helped the process. So, and ironically, since we bought that and had decided to do, I guess to Sharon, I mean, I decided to be the ambassador, if you will, and be one of these people that I was kind of careful with it. I think when I first reached out, I don't know how I can help someone except to show them. I'm not going to be technical enough to be able to do that. I might have to text Mark more. Like, I got someone sitting here.
Call a friend.
That's what I was worried about. As soon as he went down that path.
Let me block my calendar off.
Yeah. So actually today someone's dropping by to take a look at it about 1:30 this afternoon. So but it just kind of to just pay it forward, because what I've noticed is that the questions that I'm being asked by the couple that I think two or three people have Sharon has asked to call me, but those questions, everything that they're asking on the newbie part of it, same questions we have. I felt then it made us feel better. Like, okay, we weren't total idiots. I don't know what word I was looking for there, but yeah.
Rick mentioned the ambassador program, and Pam and I were ambassadors. I guess we were. We know people call us. We know that's good for that. So we never thought ourselves as ambassadors. We're just blue collar guys, But but we've had the opportunity to actually have a couple or one or two couples over to take a look at the trailer. And it's interesting when people come to look at it. One gentleman, was looking at, he's a very tall guy. So you've offered a forum for people for all kinds of questions and all kinds of concerns to come at a local level to take a look. And not only that, spend a lot of time with us that have used one and have enjoyed it. And answer a lot of their questions. So that's good. And the other funny thing about that is there's been a couple times, and one in particular, the one in Idaho, we were coming back from a camp trip over near the Tetons. Yeah. And we pulled into a service station, and a couple in another trailer pulled up not a fiberglass, not a casita. Not an Escape. But they pulled in. Sorry about that. They pulled in, and they really were interested. And we ended up pulling over to one side, and for about a half hour, just in the middle of literally Idaho, Pucker Brush, Idaho, start talking to them a little bit about it and giving them a lot of information. So it's a nice way to meet people, and it's a nice way to show people something you really like too. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a great time. This has been it's been a good experience. I was telling, I think I told Mark, I don't think I've learned so much since college days. I hope there's not a test soon. Actually, my test already is on the first setup when we were picking up the trailer. Mark gave me okay, I'm just going to stand back. I'm not going to say a word. Oh my God, I can't believe this is a test. Right? It's like my dad. And then all of a sudden, and I think I was making my first move of doing something, and he was like,
might want to think about that, buddy.
Yeah. It was between the videos that you guys have made, and you've posted now online, a lot easier to find about how each item. That really helped us to be able to look at it early on, look at it again, being able to go back right before we picked it up for a little refresher course. Yeah. While we're camping, be able to pull it up. There was one item that, back on we didn't know it was so much the problem we were having that I had to call Dustin. I didn't realize it could be actually user error. Yeah, but it was user error for sure. Nothing to do with Escape or Go Power or anything else. It was all us.
Another thing that we've done is we both have learned how to completely set up or hook up the trailer, both of us, so that if something were to happen to Rick, I would be able to back the truck up, hook it up, do the sway bars. I got that down really good. And just going around, Mark, again, when he taught us this, there were like 6 steps to do. So that's something you feel, it empowers you so that Rick can do it and I can do it. So whenever we set up or break down, we do it together, and it's just a constant reminder how to do it. But so far, as far as emptying the black and gray tank, I've left that up to Rick. And he's doing a really good job.
Really entertaining.
I just don't need to do it.
That's really entertaining to watch them do it together, because all the little bickering is so much fun.
A reality show.
I was gonna add, because usually opposites attract, and that didn't happen here, where we're both pretty much similar, and we get pretty competitive. I mean, we even compete in parallel parking. But the what ends up is that, okay, we're going through it, and I'm going, and I get all through. I think I'm all ready, and she can kind of look at me, and she goes, you might want to. Like unhook this, I'm like, like she catches me on something. It's like, oh my God.
Very rarely.
But anyway, I think it's a good idea that both know how to do things, and because you never know. All good.
Everybody can do it. And, if you think about the 17, like the 17B tends to be a trailer that there's kind of two groups of people who get the 17B. And this is why I say everyone can do this, because we do mostly you know, I think a bit stereotypically, mostly it's ladies saying, "Oh, I wouldn't know how to, oh, I wouldn't be able to hook this up, or I wouldn't be able to do whatever." And I go, that's no, you can do all of this easily, because the demographic that buys mostly the 17Bs. Okay, so there's a bit of the hunters in there because of the single axle, so you can get into, you know, sort of tighter switchbacks. Not that many. Then there's the younger couples coming through, right? Definitely just coming up from camping or tent camping. They look at the 17B. They just get into the first kid or that side of things. They want to have, really, it's the bathroom is a huge part for them. And then there's the usually it's older single ladies, whether they're widowed or not, and that's a large group that buys the 17B. I remember that was your first idea, was it? Like, if I suddenly I don't know, have a motorcycle accident and that's the end of me, then you know, Sharon's like, yep, her, the dog, and the 17B and the Jeep, and that's it. Yeah. That's, I have to make a lighter 17 or something for her because her Jeep won't pull the 17B.
Right. You just build that for me.
That's it. So,
well, for that was the whole thing. Getting back, you have these options to be able to do that, and the different sizes. And for a second, we were thinking about the 19, but then after seeing Mark and Pam's 21, that's when we decided the 21. And then you came out with the NE.
Yeah.
And you know, that was a tough decision for us between the C and the NE. But we just decided, you know, for us, and having a little bit bigger on the dinette, and so far it's just all worked out. And actually, on this last trip was the first time we took one of our grandchildren with us, so she was able to break in not literally break in, thank God, no accidents, but
no christening.
How many sheets can you put down to make sure it's not going to get down to she's 3 years old? But it worked out really well, and we're excited to get more of the grandchildren in here. But it's all good.
There was a couple of people Samuel wanted us to give a bit of a shout out to on. I think there are people that you're familiar with.
David Reed.
Oh, yeah, David Reed is in town. He was a great guy. Funny, we live in a small city here in Northern California. We're in Hillsburg, kind of where the wine country is up here in Sonoma County. And David, I've yet to meet him. And this city only has, 10,000 people. But I had seen him on the forum. Actually, I saw on the forum, and I saw a city, and I reached out to him in a direct message, private, whatever, and I just introduced myself, and that became it's blossomed into this text friendship, if you will, an email friendship, where he was in the same spot I was and all of the things that Mark had taught us, and Mark and Pam have taught us, I've been able to share with him, and just a great guy. Yeah, so. I know he's excited. He and I think he bought the same trailer I did, and through the forum, I was able to share a lot of the items that other people had done to their NEs, and I've shared it with him. So it just, again, everybody just tends to pay it forward, I think, on the forum. It's just really nice.
Yeah, and actually, his ambassadors were Robert and Laurie Levine, and they're in the same town.
In the same city too. I haven't met them yet. Yeah. That's so good.
So it almost sounds like, as we work our way, when the borders open up again, Sharon and I have a plan, which is that we're going to, I need to get some time off, but the idea that we're going to take our trailer, which we've got 21 any, so we'll take the trailer and head down the coast. So Sharon's actually never been down the Oregon coast.
No.
Side of things.
Wow, beautiful. So
let us know when you head this way. We'll be happy to hang out with you for a while.
We'll find you.
What we were
Carl,
trying.
If you need any help with the trailer, Mark can help you with that too.
All the questions.
That's perfect.
I'll have a list.
Yeah. So the strategy was, okay, we need to try and figure out a way to work our way down through the states, and Sharon can make all the friends with the ambassador group.
Yeah.
So that's going to sort that part out, and then we kind of try and work our way and just try and get some small group sort of rallies or whatever it might be as we kind of work our way down. Yeah, whoever we can, just try and this.
Are you going to go to the event at Willards Beach in July?
In which one?
The big fiberglass RV, the big one that's in July at Willards Beach State Park.
Yeah.
That's where Reese first introduced the
That's
21.
right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think the borders are going to be
They're
open
not
until
open
September.
yeah.
I think the
okay.
last thing they'll do is they'll open the borders,
Yeah.
and then we can get moving. So it might end up in next year before it all really happens, unless we can get out the end of this year.
Yeah.
I do enjoy the heat. So.
Well, you were mentioning, you were thanking some ambassadors down near where Rick and Dorothy live, and the culture of this. Pam and I were looking at trailers, and we were first introduced through some friends of ours to the Escape.
That was like 2014.
2014. It was Kathy and Dave Newland here in Portland, and it was the same kind of situation. Although we weren't newbies, we had another fiberglass trailer, a different brand, which was we really liked the Escape for a number of reasons. And by talking with Dave and Kathy and a few other people, but them in particular, going camping with them, it was the same thing that Rick and Dorothy mentioned that we were able to help them with, and they're passing it down. But back in 2014, it was going on, and there's a lot. That network is just ever growing, and it's changing demographics too. I mean, bringing in a lot of new people throughout. And so it's one of the pleasant experiences I've had. Again, I said it before, is meeting people like Dave and Kathy and a bunch of other people, and then again, sort of hooked us back up a little closer to Rick and Dorothy. We've been able to camp twice together already, and we live in the Portland, Oregon area, so it gives us a good excuse to get together with friends, and the Escape's been a big part of that, and it's held up well. So it's dependable. It's, you get in it and you go where you want to go, and I can't tell you that. It's a neat feeling. So.
Yeah, some of our closest camping friends we've met through having a fiberglass RV. So there's 6 couples, including us, that we all pal around together and have different sizes of Escapes, and we go off on these campouts together every Memorial Day weekend, and we're always looking to get together and camp with each other as often as we can. And if we hadn't owned a fiberglass RV, we would have never met these people, because in Oregon, there's a local chapter of a fiberglass RV camping group. And we got involved with that when we had a casita, and then it evolved into an Escape from there. And it's an incredible group of people that you never would have met if you didn't have it. It's kind of crazy how that pulls, like you were saying, the demographic just keeps broadening. People get pulled together.
I think you guys should be proud, and your team should be proud. I'm trying to think of another business. You have a Yelp type. A business can have a Yelp, and you never know what you're getting with a Yelp, if you will, right? I mean, is it a fake? Is it whatever review? And I saw a video where you guys did. I can't remember which one it was, but where you stated you have like 1,200 ambassadors or something signed up. I mean, who has that? I don't. Is there another business that you have a pool of 1,200 people to be able to reach out? So, and you're not even afraid. Here, you go talk to someone that doesn't even work for us.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we're not afraid. Go ahead and do it. And then you have 1,200 people that are willing to do it, and show. I mean, it says a lot about it helps our decision, and it helped our decision, and I don't know. I just, like I said, we have a couple coming by this afternoon. We had a couple come by a couple weeks ago, and they were trying to decide between they wanted 21, and but they're not sure, the C or the NE, and they came in, and he said, they looked at this, and their main concern was the bed. I said, well, go ahead, you want to lay down on it? So the guy laid down on the bed, and he was, very nice. He said, this is it. I think the wife looked at him and said, okay, that's it. We're getting any. So
what did he tell you? They just left today. They've been there for 2 weeks.
Yeah. We're subsidizing our income right now. That's good.
You thought about Airbnb, right?
Yeah, well, there is an RV Easy. I think that's the Canadian version. I can't remember. No, we had one. We were kind of kicked off a bit of the Airbnb for RVs for folks there earlier this year, but it didn't really work very well because, especially with COVID, people don't want to rent out their trailer, but that might come back. There's such huge demand for it. but we have that up there. To your point, Pam and Mark, there on the older trailers and the value, holding their value. We've had this. You may not know. It's more new people come to the site, see it, but we have this pre-owned section up on the website. And my strategy about putting the pre-owned website section up. I mean, it's basically, we're just a matchmaker. We don't take anything off anybody for this. It's just about getting another person into a fiberglass trailer, into an escape. And what we've noticed, I mean, we've seen older trailers and we've seen brand new trailers, like off the lot, gone down to someone's place, and then their life has changed. They say, "Oh, I got to sell it." So it's like no hardship. They sell it and they're totally fine. And yeah, we've seen, the 2020, there was a 2015 Escape 15 up there recently. The value is phenomenal. They hold their value exceptionally well.
Yeah.
People we've known that have sold their escapes, I would say probably the average time is less than a week once the word. Sometimes they don't even get the ad. So in terms of your inventory, if people begin to realize how easy it is to sell those, your used inventory, you literally, I think 90% of the time, it doesn't even get an ad in the paper or on the internet.
They go so fast.
The word of mouth gets out to other escape owners who have a friend who has a friend. And it's amazing. And that just speaks to the trailer and the reputation. Yeah. Sort of going back to that is like the Rick's, being able to help Rick and Dorothy. It's one of the things that we talked about is the, not only the build, but the features you put in, the quality of what goes in there. Again, as your company has changed, that quality has stayed the same, both in the build itself and the features and the appliances that go with it. And so when Dorothy and Rick were telling us what they were putting in and what it was like, oh yeah, okay, good. That's a good. Not only is it good to get that, that's a good one to get, type thing. Yeah. So it was good to see the Escape has maintained its commitment to that. That was a concern, and it shouldn't have been. You guys, in that transition between the companies, you guys just did a dynamite job on it. So
the whole thing is that talk is cheap, and it all comes down to what we show, and nobody can see that immediately. It has to happen over time. And people can see, okay, this isn't a one-hit wonder, or they haven't just done this to appease people. It's like, no, this is the mantra of the company going through. So I've actually doubled down on product development and systems development side of things. So that whole idea that, this sort of comes as beaten into me from the manufacturing perspective for so many years, is that nothing's ever good enough. Do it better. You can do better. You can keep doing better. And kind of drive.
I'm a safety engineer, a retired safety engineer. One of the first things I did when I saw Rick's trailer is I started to crawl under it and look at it. Oh yeah, they did. Oh yeah, good. They're still. Yeah, all right. And so I went through it with that kind of eye, saying, the quality is amazing. And they've maintained that and they've improved it. And I know that's something they've always done. But it was sort of funny to find myself. I thought it was funny. Rick probably didn't, but find myself doing all that stuff. So
it continues. Listen, we're kind of getting close here. We've been talking for a while, and it's been I keep going for hours. It's been
great.
Wonderful.
Let's keep talking.
Can we? We're probably going to start to close it off now. But any what I'm going to ask you, I guess, Rick and Dorothy, and then the same obviously for yourselves, Pam and Mark, is tips for new people thinking about an escape. They've already got a lot from you in this conversation, but could you summarize or round up a little bit for us?
I think there's a lot of information out there that if someone is, technically inclined to be on a computer, to be able to research that on a computer, you have a lot of information. And you have some excellent followers of Escape with the forum. And from what I hear on Facebook, but again, we don't do the Facebook thing. But you can have your hand held throughout the process, whether you want to do it away from Escape or touch Escape, and the people there. When you talk, someone can call in, and the upfront sales people can be excellent, and then after that, there could be a drop off of how the surface is and everything else. So there are people that you have on your team, Carl, that we've interacted with that are excellent. So the newbies who might be trying to decide as you're shopping, you may think you're going to walk onto a lot, kind of like a car lot, if you will, and buy it there. This is where we were looking. And yeah, it was fine. And the person was really good. But there was just something about the experience, the initial experience that we had, and then what happened after that. So they'll be able to, I just feel you guys are doing an excellent job helping the newbies, and the information that you're adding to it. I think recently I saw on your website that you had you and Harrison as you're doing your, what is a 21NE, and you're stepping through it, and then you're showing what the options are at the same time. So that was well done. Compliments, kudos to you on that. And those are the kind of things I think will help the newbie. That it'll save you guys time, obviously, on answering questions, because you probably get the same questions. And then that way, but just to a newbie, seriously, we knew nothing going into this. I saw online, I think it was on the forum, that someone's going to have to turn into an electrician and a plumber and a handy person to be able to do this. And yeah, I mean, you guys helped us through it. So, yeah.
I just want to say that for me, there's so many trailers out there, the RVs and the big trailers that have the TVs and everything in them, a lounging area. And it's all good. I think what's important is you have to know what you want. I mean, us coming from a tent, we didn't want much. We wanted a cozy bed, a nice refrigerator, and we didn't want the TV and all that, because we still spend 90% of our time outside. And for us, the Escape was perfect. It has a very comfortable bed. The dinette, we got the U shape, and in the morning, I'm still in bed. Rick's in the dinette drinking coffee, and then he'll see me wake up. So he makes me coffee every morning when we're camping. But again, you just have to know what it is that you want. And I'll be honest, I was so critical, and I'd see these big trailers and I think, oh my goodness, they never come out. But that's okay. Everybody has their form of camping, and to have a big trailer and maybe go out in the woods and never come out and watch TV, that's their way to escape reality. And for us, being in our little Escape, we love it. We just love it. It's perfect for us. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you, Mark and Pam. You guys have been the best in answering all our questions and all our bunny trails we go down. And Carl, every time Rick talks to you, he gets off the phone and he comes in and he shares it with me, and we're always smiling. So,
that's so wonderful.
This was a good move. Yeah, good move. So thank you. Thank you.
You have a good team. You have a good team that can help a lot of newbies. So if a newbie is out there looking on a lot and they think they can, get the same thing there, well, more power to them. I'd be hard pressed to think that.
My tip is real simple: is that you've gone out, Escape's done a good job putting together a lot of information you can view in the video. To utilize that, and also utilize the ambassador, because I think as much as as good as the videos are, for me at least, maybe it's my background, is that hands-on and little things you see and ask when you realize you need to know. So utilize that ambassador program. So use both, and then do what Dorothy said. You have a lot of options, even within Escape. Or you have other options with trailers. So make a decision that best fits you, and
know what you want.
And I'm sure Pam has some thoughts too. So
that's not what I was going to say. Well, because Dottie and I think alike. No, I was know what you want. What are your camping goals? Are you planning to go off the grid a lot? Or you wanted to camp in groups? Are you wanting to go into a national park and you want to make sure you have a trailer that fits in the camping space in a national park? All of that, and just getting what you want from it. And I agree, for us, it was actually having hands-on, seeing a trailer, walking around inside of it and talking to people. And we watched another couple do their build sheet. One year we were camping with them, and they had build sheets spread out on the picnic tables, and they were pulling their hair out trying to decide what to do. And we thought, we're going to be in that position in a year. What's going to happen to us? But it was really nice to have this couple helping us along the way. And we got to see them go through it and then realize, yeah, it all comes out all right in the end. It's your custom built trailer and it's yours.
Yeah. So take advantage of the resources that you guys have developed and put together and made possible. I think that's my one tip is because they're good resources.
Yeah.
So
wonderful. So Pam, you almost hit the tagline there. So it's like, custom built trailer. So what we've been using now for the last year or so is that, and I don't know if you guys have seen this yet or not, but, or I know Rick, you'll have heard about this or seen us doing this in the videos. So generally we kind of round them off and say, thank you very much, everybody. Really appreciate you coming on and sharing your experience with us here as Escape. It's really valuable. The feedback is exceptionally valuable for us. We push this. And then when it goes to the guys who don't get a whole lot of interaction. I'm talking about my guys, the guys actually building the trailer. Most important people in the whole thing for me, is the guys who actually put hands to tools and make this thing for you. Linda, Melissa, and Jolie, 100% too, because they help you configure it. But then our guys get to see these videos too, and that's just such a huge boost for them.
Yeah, people need to know, you guys, we all just came through something, who would ever experience in this last year with this COVID thing and everything else. And what you guys have done in the last year of being able to increase your, when everybody else wants trailers, and I can't even imagine what you had to go through to make sure everybody was safe and stayed safe and everything. So those people should hear it. I'm sure you tell them daily, but
2 thumbs up.
From all of us, us 4 to them. Wow.
And when we picked ours up in March of 2015, we were lucky enough to go to Chilliwack, and we got to be inside the factory, and I watched different stages of the trailers being made, and then also the showroom, then having Reese's father-in-law give us the boots on the ground training. And it was really amazing to see what a teamwork that was going on. There was all different kinds of groups of people working on the one product at the final stage. And
it was a great start. You guys have done a good job. I mean, you pull out with your trailer feeling good about the trailer. And thank you very much for creating that.
Yeah.
That's the objective. Listen, we really, really, really appreciate it. The tagline, if you don't remember, is built for you. Is what we're working for.
Did you have to do this or something?
Yeah, that's right.
You're always doing this.
So let's see if we can play along. It's a bit of like an Aussie oi. And you guys will get that. So we'll Aussie, So, Sharon, does that mean I'm Aussie?
Yeah, you're
Sharon.
Aussie, yeah.
Okay. Not quite. So we're Escape Trailer. Thank you very much, guys. We're Escape Trailer, and we're
everybody be safe out there.
Built for you.
Built for you. We'll do that once more. We'll get the training together. So I'll do our Escape Trailer, and you guys will do We're Built for You.
All right.
Thanks, bye.
Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate you joining us. We're Escape Trailer, and we're
Built for you.
That's wonderful.